All right, buckle up. Today we're taking a deep dive into Taekwondo,
Ooh, exciting.
but not the usual beginner stuff.
Okay.
We're focusing on, get this, the three fundamental types of kicks.
You're right.
And I gotta say, even if you're like totally unfamiliar with martial arts,
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna be way more revealing than you might think.
Interesting.
Yeah, like just thinking about how these kicks work can teach us a lot
Yeah.
about like movement, generating power, and how our bodies pull off these
Right.
crazy precise moves.
I'm intrigued. What's our source for this deep dive?
So we're looking at this pretty in-depth study on Taekwondo techniques.
Cool.
And what I found really interesting is that they emphasize mastering all three kick types,
Oh, that makes sense.
like to really become skilled.
Yeah.
So it's not just about like brute force,
Right, right.
there's this like balance.
Yeah, and what's fascinating to me is that even though we're like categorizing these kicks into three types,
Yeah.
they're all like interconnected. Oh, for sure.
In a like really elegant way.
Yeah, yeah.
Our source really highlights that, like, you need that mastery of all three
Mm-hmm.
to truly excel in Taekwondo.
Makes sense.
So I'm curious to explore, like, how they achieve that balance.
Totally. So they start with the lower leg kicks.
Yeah.
You've got your front kick, which is like all about that direct power.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, like a laser beam. Then there's the roundhouse kick,
Classic.
which comes at you in this like wide arc, much harder to predict.
Oh, yeah.
But wait, it gets even cooler.
Okay, I'm listening.
There's this twist kick.
A twist kick.
Yeah, it actually like changes direction mid-flight.
Whoa, hold on. How is that even possible?
I know, right? Like, how do they even do that?
I'm like picturing it and it's bending my brain a little.
I know. It's like defying physics or something.
So is that like a fake out move or something?
Kind of. It's all about like this rapid hip rotation and a snapping motion with the lower leg. Huh. So they're redirecting the force while the kick's already happening.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Talk about catching your opponent off guard.
Seriously. You think you know what's coming, and then bam, it switches direction.
So yeah, the source is basically saying these lower leg kicks are all about like speed and precision.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially if you're aiming for those quick strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you think about it, that front kick is almost like a fencer's lunge,
Oh,
both delivering that focused, direct energy.
I see it.
It's all about that, like, pinpoint accuracy.
Okay, so we've got these like lightning fast lower leg kicks. What's next in our Taekwondo arsenal?
All right, let's crank up the power.
Oh.
Time to talk upper leg kicks.
Oh, yeah.
These bad boys engage your whole leg,
Okay.
bringing your hip into the mix.
Oh.
Like, think about the side kick, for instance.
Yeah.
Combines accuracy with some serious strength.
Wonderful stuff.
Pretty formidable technique, right?
Totally.
And then you've got the back kick.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one from like old kung fu movies.
Haha, yeah.
It's like the surprise attack from behind.
Exactly. Perfect for catching your opponent off guard.
Effective, for sure.
But there's one that's always intrigued me, this bend stretch kick the source mentions.
Oh, yeah. What is the deal with that one? The name's kind of weird, right?
Totally. Not the most intuitive, to be honest.
Like, what are we bending and stretching here?
Haha. Well, it's more about how the practitioner bends their knee before, like, explosively extending their leg,
Okay.
generating power through that, like, controlled stretch.
Oh, okay.
Think of it like a spring.
Oh, okay.
You compress it
Yeah.
and then suddenly release it.
Whoa, I get it. So it's like storing up that potential energy and then bam.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so effective for, creating distance from an opponent.
Push them back.
Yeah, give yourself some breathing room to maneuver.
Smart.
So it's not just about brute force, right?
Right.
It's about control and timing, too. A lot more finesse involved than you might initially think.
Okay, this is where I'm getting really interested.
All right. Let's hear
We're
it.
moving into the hip-dominant kicks.
Oh, yeah. These are cool.
The source specifically talks about the back roundhouse kick.
A classic.
And it sounds intense. It's all about, like, rotating your hip to add this extra oof.
I'm picturing it.
Like a spinning top.
Yeah.
Right. Just like whipping around with this incredible force.
That's a great visual.
I mean, I don't even know how they stay balanced with all that spinning.
Right. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, but it's not just brute force. Right.
Definitely not. The real power of the back roundhouse kick comes from the coordination.
Oh, okay.
You got to time that hip rotation perfectly with the movements of your leg and foot.
So it's more than just spinning like crazy.
Way more. It's about precision and control.
Right.
And you know what? It actually connects back to what we were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that balance between lower leg, upper leg, and hip?
Yeah.
It's essential to every kick. Even though the hip is like the dominant force in this one,
Right.
you still need those other elements working in harmony
Working together.
to make it truly effective.
So it's like a perfectly choreographed dance.
Exactly. Each body part has its role.
Right.
And they all got to move in sync.
I'm starting to see these kicks in a whole new light.
That's the beauty of it.
There's like so much more to them than just throwing your leg out there.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the biomechanics, the timing, the coordination.
It's a whole art form in itself.
And as we continue exploring these different kick types,
Yeah.
you'll start to appreciate just how much goes into making them so effective.
I'm ready. All right, so we've gone through these 3 basic Taekwondo kicks, right?
Right.
Lower leg, upper leg, and hip dominant.
Yeah.
But what I'm really curious about is why does our source emphasize mastering all 3?
Oh, that's a great question.
If you could just knock someone out with one kick,
Right.
why even bother with the others?
Well, think of it this way.
Yeah.
If you only know, one type of kick,
Mm-hmm.
you become predictable.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Your opponent knows what's coming.
Right.
They can easily counter you.
So it's like playing rock, paper, scissors,
Yeah.
but you only know how to throw a rock.
Exactly. You're going to lose.
Makes sense.
But if you master all 3,
Yeah.
you become way more versatile.
Oh.
You can adapt. You can exploit weaknesses.
Keep them guessing.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense, from a fighting perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still kind of curious,
Yeah.
what about, for people who aren't, planning on getting into any fights?
Right.
What's the value in understanding these different kicks?
Well, remember, Taekwondo isn't just about fighting.
Yeah.
It's a discipline,
Mm-hmm.
Cultivates physical and mental strength,
Yeah.
balance, coordination, self-control.
Okay.
And those are skills that benefit, everyone.
So even if I never, set foot in a, what do they call it, dojang?
Dojang, yep.
Yeah, even if I never do that,
Mm-hmm.
I can still, gain something.
Absolutely. Think about the balance and coordination
Right.
required for, say, a spinning hook kick.
Yeah.
Those skills translate
Okay.
to, sports, to just moving through life
Interesting.
with more grace, more efficiency.
I like that.
So it's a holistic thing.
I'm seeing Taekwondo in a whole new light.
Me too.
It's not just, fighting. It's about understanding your body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pushing your limits, developing discipline, exploring what your body can really do.
So, our source mentions,
Yeah.
these kicks, they seem simple on the surface.
Right.
But there's actually a lot of complexity.
A surprising amount.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember, with that twist kick,
Oh, yeah.
the way you were talking about how the hip and the lower leg have to work together.
It's fascinating.
It's on the surface, it's just a kick, but
There's a whole lot going on underneath.
yeah.
And that's what makes Taekwondo so intriguing, is this constant process of refining your technique,
Okay.
understanding how it works, pushing yourself.
To get better,
Exactly. Greater precision, greater power.
I have to admit,
Yeah.
before this deep dive,
Yeah.
I kind of took kicking for granted.
I get that.
I just thought, you just kick.
It seems so natural, right?
Yeah, but now I realize,
It's a science.
yeah, a whole science to it.
And that's, I think, a common misconception.
Okay.
We do so many incredible things with our bodies
I do.
without even realizing the complexity.
Right.
But when you really look at it,
Yeah.
break down a technique like a kick,
Mm-hmm.
you see the muscles, the bones, the balance.
It all has to work together.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it makes you think differently about, how we move.
About everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And what our source highlights
Mhm.
is that even within these 3 types of kicks, there's so much variation.
Really?
So much nuance.
Oh, interesting.
You mentioned the back roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
There are actually multiple ways to do that.
Oh, wow.
Each with subtle differences.
So there's no, one right way.
Not necessarily. There are fundamentals, of course.
Okay.
But there's also room for individual expression,
I see.
adaptation,
Yeah. That makes sense.
And that's what makes Taekwondo so dynamic.
Yeah, it's always evolving.
Exactly.
I'm starting to understand why people,
Yeah.
dedicate their lives to this.
It's more than just moves.
Yeah, it's refining your technique.
Pushing your boundaries.
Yeah, finding out what your body can do.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got these 3 types, right?
Right.
A lower leg, upper leg, hip dominant.
Mhm.
We talk about how mastering them makes you a more versatile fighter.
Right.
We even talked about how, like, even if you're not fighting,
Yeah.
you can still benefit.
Absolutely.
What else is there to explore?
Well, one of the most fascinating things about Taekwondo,
Yeah.
and something our source really emphasizes,
Go ahead.
it's not just about brute force.
Right.
It's about blending power with precision, control, timing.
Oh, wow.
To really understand that,
Yeah.
we need to look at how these kicks actually work.
Okay, now we're talking. Break it down for me.
All right, let's start with something called kinetic linking.
Kinetic linking. Sound intense.
Kinetic link.
Like, kinetic linking, huh? So is that like some kind of sci-fi thing or?
Haha, not quite.
Okay.
It's actually all about physics.
Okay.
How different parts of your body work together to generate power. It's like a chain reaction.
Oh, okay.
Focusing that power right at the point of impact.
Which is like your foot in this case.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like a domino effect.
Yeah.
But with my body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, imagine a simple front kick.
Okay.
You start by pushing off your back leg.
Yeah.
That energy goes up through your hip, then down through your thigh, knee, and into your foot.
As you kick.
Right, as it extends forward.
Cool.
Each part of that chain adds to the power.
I see.
So it's not just your foot doing the work.
It's like your whole body.
Yeah, it's all connected.
Okay, so how do the 3 different kick types use this kinetic linking?
Good question.
Do they all work the same way?
They all use that same principle.
Okay.
Transferring energy, but the emphasis kind of shifts depending on the type of kick.
Gotcha.
Like with a lower leg kick, like that front kick we talked about.
Yeah.
It's all about speed and precision.
Right.
So the kinetic chain is shorter, faster.
So it's like a quick jab.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not trying to wind up for a huge punch.
Right. It's all about that quick snap.
Just get it out there fast.
Precisely.
Okay, I got it.
But then you have those upper leg kicks, like the side kick. Now you're using more of your body, including the hip.
So the chain's longer.
Longer, more powerful.
Okay.
The energy takes a bit longer to transfer.
But it's stronger.
But the impact is way more forceful.
Whoa.
It's like the difference between a jab and a roundhouse punch.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then there are those hip-dominant kicks.
The ones with all the spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do they work?
So those are all about rotation.
Okay.
Maximizing that rotational force.
Okay.
Think about that back roundhouse kick. The energy starts in your grounded foot, travels up your leg, and explodes out as your hip rotates.
So the hip is like the engine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Driving your foot in a wide arc.
Like that spinning top.
There it is again.
But now I get it.
Yeah.
It's not just about spinning.
Right.
It's about using that spinning energy.
Harnessing it.
Yeah, and putting it into your kick.
Exactly. And that's why they can be so powerful.
Makes sense.
But they also need a lot of control.
Right. You don't want to just spin out of control.
Exactly. Precision is key.
So it's not just about kicking hard.
Yo.
It's about controlling that power.
Absolutely. That's what separates Taekwondo from just brute strength.
Right.
It's about skill, timing, precision.
It's like an art form almost.
It is.
It's funny. I never would have thought there was so much to a kick.
Right. It seems so simple.
Just thought, you just kick.
It's easy to take our bodies for granted.
We do.
We do all these amazing things without realizing how complex they are.
Right.
But when you break it down...
Like we did with these kicks.
Exactly. You start to see just how incredible the human body is.
And how much goes into even simple movements, like walking.
Yeah, even walking.
Running, throwing a ball.
All these things we do every day.
There's probably a lot more to it than we think.
There's a whole symphony of muscles and bones working together.
Wow. This has been a real eye-opener for me.
Glad to hear it.
I feel like I understand Taekwondo better.
That's great.
But I also appreciate my own body more.
And that's a key takeaway. Our source really wants us to understand.
Okay.
Never underestimate the power of simple movements.
Like a Taekwondo kick.
Exactly.
Or even just stretching.
It all matters.
Our bodies can do amazing things.
We just got to explore those possibilities.
I like that.
Push ourselves, see what we can achieve.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Taekwondo.
Yeah, this was awesome. I learned a lot.
Until next time.
See ya.